on Wednesday. Take a listen.
There can't be a better obvious example of a system that is not fair as far as justice and equal rights are concerned and protection of citizens. It was just right in your face, and anybody that can ignore that is a shameful individual, in my opinion. It's hard to deny that.
Shannon, what is your reaction to what he said?
I agree. Because, Skip, normally what do we, and Popovich said, is that when he says about these black men, unarmed black men and women being killed, the white counterparts would always say, but he was breaking the law. They were breaking the law. If you had obeyed what the officer said, you wouldn't be dead. You see, and Popovich like, hold on, wait a minute. It was on full display. They had no right to be there. The police had immediately told them to stop. Well, some of them did. And then they ended up opening the barricades. Now, we saw when the Black Lives Matter was going on in late May all the way up into October, we saw every line, police on every step of the Capitol building, making sure y'all ain't coming up in here. Y'all protest all you want up and down the street, but you ain't coming up in here. Mm-hmm. The man said a month ago, come here and I need you to fight. I need you to be rowdy. And don't nobody, they go, well, I wonder how we missed it. How you miss it? You monitor everybody else calls, Skip. Mm-hmm. You know when somebody else about to do something crazy. You snuff out things, but this was you know who. And what he took umbrage to also is the enablers. What do we say, Skip? A lot of Antonio Brown's problems came from people around him that wouldn't tell him that he was doing wrong. You right, AB, yeah, man, you don't need that. The very people. You see what's happening, Skip, a lot of these senators, guess what they're gonna do in 2024? Now, they found out early on, President Trump's base is their base. And if we tick those people off, they won't vote for us. Mm. So we got to co-sign, even though they know he dead wrong. We got to co-sign it because we don't want to tick them off because we gonna want them. So in the short term, I'm gonna get a short-term gratification if I can win the presidency, even though I might do long-term and lasting damage to our democracy. I'm willing to forego that just to co-sign with him. Mm-hmm. Ted Cruz, after all that man called you lying, called your wife ugly, said all these things. Josh Hawley, for you to do that, but it doesn't matter. And that's what he's saying. He said, man, we saw this on full display. Sometimes, and for Pop gets it. Pop's in the military. Pop gets it. And he says, for anybody that don't see now, Skip, there's a saying that says, which is worse, a man that can't read or a man that chooses not to read? Yep. What we're seeing now, Skip, is people choosing not, they see it, but they choosing not to see. So you're the blindest, not the man that can't see, it's the man that chooses not to see. Mm. Man, Gregg Popovich, I could play for Pop. If I was a hoop, I wouldn't play for Pop. Because he gonna give it to me real, Skip. If I'm messing up, he gonna tell me I'm messing up. If I'm doing good, he gonna tell me I'm doing good. Mm. If he sees some things that I need to do better, he gonna tell me that too. He ain't gonna sugarcoat it. That's all I ever ask for. A man to keep it, that's how my grandpa, be 100 with me.
You should have a conversation with Kawhi Leonard about that. he might tell you differently.
Well, everybody can't handle that though, Skip. Everybody ain't cut to get it truthfully. But when you grow up like that, when you're in the military, Skip, they tell you that you got to do it this, because people's lives are at stake. You know what I'm saying? You can't. Maybe get up at 6:15 when you're supposed to be up at 6, or maybe go this way when you should have gone that way. You can't do it like that. So Pop is going to give it. That's the military style that's in it.
Yeah. Okay. So obviously, I've been a Spurs fan since George Gervin days. Iceman.
Sit on the blocks of ice in that poster with the legs crossed.
That was special. So, 2016, we just started the show. That man got elected. Mm-hmm. You were pretty out of your mind. Mm-hmm. A lot of people out of their minds. And this man, Gregg Popovich, went completely over the edge about it. And I cringed over it because I was always taught coming up in this business that head coaches of franchises had to sort of represent the masses who follow the team.
Right.
So you have to be above taking a side in politics or religion or anything other than basketball.
Correct.
Because you have advertisers who are going to get squeamish if you start taking sides, because you are the voice of the whole franchise.
Correct.
And when he took these scathing stands against the new President Trump, I was like, wow, I wonder if ownership or the GMRC Buford are pulling him aside saying, Pop, you cannot do that. You can't go that far. And I'll be honest, I always tell you, I don't follow politics like you did. I did not vote in 2016 or this past time for Donald Trump, but I try to be a good American.
Right.
And once he got elected, I said, okay, I know where the blind spots are. I know where the trouble is going to be, but I'm going to try to give this man a shot here, and maybe he'll have some good to him, and maybe it'll be the economy or whatever you want to say, that he'll have some strengths in, and we'll stay together because somehow he did get elected the first time. And I guess it was legal, right?
Yeah. No, that was rigged.
Okay,
that was rigged.
Maybe that was rigged.
Exactly.
Okay. So here comes Pop, and Steve Kerr also, but nobody was as scathing as this man was. And I'm here to say, after all that has transpired, he was right.
Yeah.
He was one of the few who saw it coming from the start and tried to head it off at the pass using the power bestowed upon him in his position as the head coach of a dynastic team. I don't know if you want to go so far as they've been a dynasty, but I think they would qualify.
I would consider them a dynasty.
Okay. I know it's spread over a long time and it didn't happen every year. But over time, it's dynastic.
Yes.
And he was a reason for the dynasty. And he was utilizing his power the way no head coach ever has. He became, if I might, he became the LeBron of coaches.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes. Yes.
And again, he's a white man, and that made it even more powerful that a white man was going after a white president.
Well, Skip, you remember John Thompson was always outspoken.
Okay.
But we expected that from him.
I got it.
But not a white man openly and blatantly critical of a white president.
Thank you very much. And one with a military background was key to this. It was essential to understand.
Right.
But I know we just saw a brief clip of what he said, but he tripled down his comments last night about Trump.
Yeah.
He's incapable. He's incompetent. While that was going on at our Capitol, 4,000 other citizens died due to the pandemic yesterday. So he's just, he is blasting away. And he says, Donald Trump loved those people hitting the Capitol because that's what he cares about. That they were, what did Donald Trump call them in that message he posted? They're very special. Well, he put them up to it. He greased the skids for them to get through the doors walking without weapons, unarmed. And don't you think he kicked back in the Oval Office? And thought it was great theater?
Skip, he loves cheering. He loves adulation. You praise him, and then you can get everything you want of him. You tell him how great he is. You can possibly get a pardon. You can possibly get appointed to a political role. So you can get that, Skip. The way I look at it like this. Some people like the power and what it... They say money and power doesn't change you. It makes you more of what you already are. And there are a lot of people that, Skip, that crave that power and they'll do anything to get it. And some people like, well, you look at what he done with the economy. Well, Skip, peanut butter or jelly doesn't do you any good if you don't got anything to put it on.
I agree.
So everybody keeps talking about the economy. Well, how much money did you have in the economy? How much money are you invested in the stock, and do you have property and things of that nature? So because you keep parroting what people saying. For me, okay, yeah, I'm in the market. But I would rather do okay or so and have my people uplifted than to make millions and millions and millions of dollars.
I got it. So Pop goes on, he says of Trump, it's sad because he's deranged and really flawed, but he's also dangerous. That was the point. He's still in there for, what are we up down to now, 12 more days?
Yes.
Okay, and then I love this point. I hate to get so political, but that's just what's happening right now in our country. But he blasted all the Republican senators who supported Trump's obviously unfounded claims of election fraud. And he said, they're worse than Trump because they're not sick. They're not deeply flawed. Mr. Trump is not a well man, but these people are sane, but their self-interest and their greed and their lust for power outweighs their love of the country.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, well, this is deep, scathing, bingo commentary. It's just right, it's right on the mark. And it came from a white head coach of a dynastic franchise.
I'm not so sure, Skip. If we didn't get this man out of office this term, he might have been in office for another 10, 15 years. Because you see,